Since the Finance Minister has been kind enough to join us, let me capture the present situation in some light verse. Tax our petrol, tax our shirt, tax our footwear, tax our dirt. Tax our mobile, tax our calls, tax our hovel's crumbling walls. Tax our salary, tax our ride, tax our mithai on the side. Tax our sorrow, tax our cheer, tax our future year by year. GST income tax forms pile high, cesses, surcharges make us sigh. Roads with potholes, trains that derail, where does it go? Is it all a fail? When we ask, is this all in vain? You smile and say, it's for the nation's gain. And if we ask you to try and fix it, you point and say, you will be fixed. Yet still we pay with a patriotic heart, hoping our cash will play a small part in building a future bright and fair for the nation we love beyond compare. And let me say, ma'am, that the 5 southern states, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka and Telangana, are amongst India's strongest economic engines. They are paying taxes. They generate over a quarter of the country's direct taxes. They contribute 28.5% of GST. But when it comes to receiving their fair share, they get a mere 15% of the centre's tax pool. How is this acceptable? How can states that fuel the nation's economy be expected to sustain their growth with such an inadequate return? By all means, let us ask the richer states to help the poorer ones, but surely not in such a disproportionate manner. The Finance Bill 2025 is yet another move by the centre to hoard revenue here at the state's expense. By slashing basic customs duty on several items that are shared with the states and shifting the difference to agricultural infrastructure and development cess, AIDC, which the centre keeps entirely, this ensures that states lose out. So AIDC share is increased, centre deprives the states of extra rightful revenue. Its growing addiction to cesses is not only opaque, but also undermines fiscal federalism. And yet, for all its love of cesses, there's one the centre just can't seem to stomach, the GST compensation cess, which was intended to offset the loss of revenue to states after the GST implementation and has been extended only till March 2026. That money actually belongs to the states. States have repeatedly demanded that their share in vertical devolution be raised from 41% of revenues to 50%, a reasonable demand, but one that continues to be ignored. And what happens when states have grievances? Nothing. Once the Central Finance Commission submits its report, it dissolves, leaving states with no constitutional mechanism to challenge or negotiate their share. Where is the accountability? We could have had an independent fiscal council to serve as a redressal body, ensuring that states have a say in how their hard-earned revenue is allocated. And I urge the Finance Minister to consider such a method, because shouldn't those who contribute the most to the nation's economy have a voice to receive a fairer share? Or can the cycle of economic injustice just continue unchecked? Let me turn, Madam Chair, to my own state, because Kerala's share of tax out of the divisible pool seems to be on a permanent downward slide, from 3.8% under the 10th Finance Commission, 1980 to 85, to 3% in 2000 to 2005, and now under the 15th Finance Commission, it's down to a mere 1.9%. 18,000 crores lost since the last one. Now, this is for a state which is struggling to meet routine expenditures and is sinking into debt that has now crossed 4 lakh crores. But always the expectation of Kerala seems to be pay more, receive less, and somehow keep thriving. Now, amid this financial crunch, Madam Chairman, when the state government sought 4,500 crores in special assistance to tackle coastal erosion, rehabilitate fisherfolk through the Punargehem project, modernize fishing harbours, was given no response. Lakhs of poor fishermen are left struggling under a trifecta of crises. Low prices for their catch, depleted fish stocks due to overfishing, the removal of kerosene subsidies by this government for their boat engines, and yet no relief package has been announced.